Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome, or a very chilly welcome, I should say, to our December meeting for the Plymouth Food Aid Network. Lovely to see so many of you in the room this morning, and welcome to those of you that are watching on recording as well. We're very lucky today to be joined by Dr. Jan Knight, who is going to be giving us a little bit of an insight into what's happening in her world. So I'm not going to say any more. I'm going to pass to her in a minute. But what we'll do just beforehand, because we've got some new people in the room, if you'd just like to introduce yourself and just say who you're from, just so we all know who we are. And then we'll do some updates from everybody after Jan's done her speak. So Ian, if you'd just like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, happily. So good to see everyone, both here now and on recording. So I'm Ian Smith. I'm from Food Plymouth, the core enabling team and the community interest company that provides the infrastructure support, and do a fair bit of work behind the scenes more often than not in this food support field with Tammy and other colleagues. So yeah, that's me. Thank you. Are you going to set the next person?
You can choose someone if you like, Ian.
Choose someone. Right, let me choose. Well, let's choose Jan then as the guest speaker. Thank you.
It was probably best I'll introduce myself when I'm invited to speak, but I'm representing Plymouth Social Isolation Forum, No One Alone for Christmas, and Park Pharmacy Trust. Okay. They'll all fit in when I talk. Thanks.
Thanks, Jan. Tim?
Good morning, everyone. My name's Tim. I'm here on behalf of the Wellbeing Team, which is part of Live Well South West. So we're commissioned by Plymouth City Council to deliver local health improvement services for the local population. So stop smoking, healthy eating, falls prevention, and much more. So it's great to be here. I've not been to one of these for about over a year now, so good to connect.
Lovely that you can join us. Ella?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ella, and I work for Diversity Business Incubator, which is a business hub for entrepreneurs from Black, Asian, and other ethnic minority backgrounds. We also work closely with Ian and with Plymouth and Plymouth Food Aid Network. So that's why I'm here.
Thanks, Ella. Eve?
Yes, good morning. So I'm Eve. I am working at 4 Greens, where I pack bags for the food bank. And I also am a community food researcher with Food Sequel. So today I'm here at 4 Greens as a food bank coordinator, where I haven't been for 2 weeks because I've been on holiday. So don't ask me anything technical.
Thanks, Eve. That's brilliant. And Rebecca?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rebecca Carter-Dillon. I am a researcher at the University of Plymouth, working with the public health team at the City Council to support City Council and voluntary community sector organisations to do research and evaluation. And I've got particular interest in food security and been working supporting Ian and partners looking at the evaluation, looking at the impact of the food co-ops and social supermarkets that are being set up around the city.
Thanks, Rebecca. That's brilliant. And most of you do know me, but my name's Tammy, and I'm part of the Food Plymouth core team and one of the directors with Ian of the CIC, and also run Food is Fun. And we're doing, at the moment, as we speak, some pop-up cookery demos to support the food co-ops and the social supermarkets and the food hubs across the city. So yeah, lots going on. So lovely that so many of you could join us, and I know there's a few people that are going to be popping in a little bit later on. Jan, could we give you the floor? Hand over to you, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you ever so much, Tammy, for inviting me to tell everyone about what we've been getting up to in Plymouth for the last 3 years. And I'd like to just start that it was just over 3 years ago that I'm chairman of Park Pharmacy Trust. We have headquarters at Thorne Park Lodge, where we have a little museum of pharmaceutical artifacts, and we have a garden of medicinal plants, and we host people, we do lots of things. And one of our trustees used to meet there and invite some of her social prescribing friends. And it was quite funny because they would come together and it was lovely for me. I would watch them, they would let their hair down and they would moan about everything in the world. And then I thought, well, that was good. But then I thought, well, maybe we could do a bit better, because I suddenly realized that they were all doing very similar things, chasing the same people, but not actually collaborating. So we then decided, let's have a conference. Let's try to find out solutions to isolation and loneliness. And we held the first conference at the Duke of Cornwall Hotel. We called it Bringing Plymouth Together to Find Solutions to Isolation and Loneliness. And it was by invitation. We had 4 interactive workshops, and you could go to 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, so they were repeated, and they covered the topics. So for example, transport. Well, if you're stuck in 10 miles from the city centre and the last bus gets in at 6, well, you can't go out for the evening. So we had, and that was chaired by the chief executive of City Bus, and he's lovely. And we then had a section on health, which is a very important aspect of it. Then we had a workshop to deal with all youth. And then a very interesting, well, all interesting one on the environment, because the way you design things, for example, in parks, the way you bring the park benches so that you array them in such a way that people have to talk to each other. And we had a very interesting architect who talked about how you can arrange the furniture in a waiting room so people aren't isolated. So from that, we had a little exhibition from the people who were participating. And I said to everyone, well, because we don't have any outside people coming in, don't stay at your stand, go to the workshops, but at coffee and tea, and at the end you'll have a chance. And that was very, very successful. So from that, we thought, well, people now are talking to each other. They knew of each other, but they didn't really know what each one was doing. So we then decided, let's go on to have an exhibition. Let's show everyone, let's have a trade show, show everyone what we have to offer in Plymouth and get people to come in and find out what's on offer. So the first one, we called it Opening Doors, and the first opening doors we held at Argyle, Plymouth Argyle Football Club, and they had just done their place up, and that was very nice. Free, parking was easy, and everyone was very, very happy. But we didn't get enough of the punters in. But still, the people were really, in some ways, they were just happy to talk to each other. But we did have people from the public come in. So then the next, sorry. Then the next event we had Opening Doors 2, which we held at the university at their role marquee. And again, we were looking at more interactions between people. And by now, it was lovely for me because I was beginning to see how many people were working together. They would send me information. They would say, would you circulate this event? And they would tell me that they're collaborating with this person and that person. And it was marvelous. And then we continued because we still felt we hadn't attracted enough of the public to find out what was on offer. And after all, most of these organizations, though they're charities or CICs, for them to be able to get the day off, they have to justify to their supervisor that this is going to attract more people to use their services. So I thought I would ask Tammy, on the website of Plymouth Social Isolation Forum, you'll see a lot of the background. But the most recent event, which we held at Sherwell United Church Hall in July of this year, we've got a video of that, and Tammy's going to press a button and show it to you. Are you able to share it, Tammy?
Yeah, just about to do that now.
Thanks. I'm wicked. I've left you to do all that.
Oh, just hoping it's going to work. It just takes a little bit of a while to catch up.
This is the third Opening Doors event showcasing solutions to isolation and loneliness. It's an exhibition, a trade show. People are showing off what they have to offer. People are coming in to find out all the things going on, because Plymouth is absolutely remarkable. The amazing things that go on here, the fun things and the serious things. So there's some very important help people can get with problems with mental health.
We're here at the Social Isolation Forum. We love making the connections with the other CICs and the charities and the police and Plymouth Community Homes, all those wonderful organisations, and you never know what is going to spark and what is going to happen.
Plymouth has got a lot on offer for families and for people across the city, but unless we're having events like this one, how do we know about what is on our doorstep, really? So, you know, some surprises for us today, some new initiatives that we can actually signpost families into.
One of the things we do is connect people to the growing spaces across the city, because people have no idea how many community gardens there are, how many allotments there are, and how to get involved. So it's very much about how do we highlight that? And that's a fantastic way for people to come together, learn about growing, but actually the social side, meeting people in a safe space, is really important as well.
The food is free, you know, so that encourages people to come as well. But not only the food, it's the information you get, you know, and you find out things.
It's been really interesting learning how many different things there are already in the city that I'd never heard of. And telling all those people, inviting them, we've got an event coming up. So that's really exciting.
My name is Luis and come from El Salvador. I arrived here to UK with my family, with my wife and my son, 2 years and 4 months ago. We are asylum seekers here now in Plymouth, are trying to find something different to do, feel better than we feel in the hotel. Sometimes we feel depressed, sometimes we feel very sad, ill, and the organization are trying to find something to do for everyone. And I think it's something very important, because if we are in the hotel all the time, we are in the flat all the time, probably we don't feel better.
I'm mentoring a young adult who has severe depression and lives in Plymouth, but can't access counselling because she doesn't have the money. And free counselling is very hard to go by. So I was so excited for her to find avenues to explore free counselling or support, at least support of friendship.
So it's about building up that network, and it works both ways. As a result of our previous involvement with this event, we've been able to roll out some third-party reporting training to the organisations, so people can work on an advocacy basis, and if they spot an issue with their service users, they know exactly what to do, and they can report to the police on their service users' behalf.
I didn't know anything about it to start with, so I rang up and I booked, and I've come along and I've had a really good time. When I read about this organization, I understand, we need families integrated too, because many people alone and need health community. This is a very good idea, yeah.
So it was just so vibrant and so exciting for Plymouth to provide that sort of platform and hope as well. And I think we all need hope, don't we?
And it's just been a privilege to be able to be a part of today and to see, like I said, lots of different organisations and meet people and have those important conversations.
Thanks, Tammy, for showing that. I was asked earlier today by Ian when our next opening doors event will be. We don't have an exact date, but we're planning April, May to be the next will be opening doors for, and it will be in Sherwell Church Hall. So we've got to fix up the right date. So I thought I would then continue. If you want to see more of the background, how we got to Opening Doors 3, which really we were successful this time in getting the public to come in. And the exciting thing is that some of the people on the film, like Lewis, who was an asylum seeker from El Salvador, he has now been totally involved with things going on. He goes to the international dinner, which is another thing which we all collaborate with. He brought his son is so intelligent and his son loves it that he rounded up a bunch of his friends. So the last international dinner, we had a bunch of children, and he goes to Jonathan Sherwell's food bank or food initiative on Friday afternoons. And it's working. And the nice thing, as I said, is we're all talking together. So coming up to the festive season, 3 years ago, wearing my Park Pharmacy Trust hat at Thorne Park Lodge, it's something I've been involved in actually all my life. Whenever Christmas came along, I would usually offer to volunteer, relieve people in hospitals. But I felt that we weren't doing anything at Christmas for the people who are on their own. And it's the loneliest time of the year for two reasons. Some people are just so happy and excited. I think today is an exciting day. Someone said it's a Christmas sweater day. But the people who have nothing to look forward to, that makes them more depressed. And it makes them aware of the fact that they're on their own. So that's how we started No One Alone at Christmas. And the first one we had 3 years ago, we publicized it initially through Global Plymouth, and we attracted quite a lot of the international students, and then we gradually got the message out. Thorne Park Lodge is a lovely place, but it's we're limited with space, but we squeezed lots of people in, and we've got a marquee. So last year, because people knew about it, we advertised, and this time we were overwhelmed with people. I was actually worried. So we ended up we invented 3 days of Christmas. So we had the overspill on the third day. And because it's not a it's for no faith or interfaith, it's for all faiths, and we try to emphasize that. So a number of the people who were Muslim, I said, well, would you mind if we spread you across the board and come on the third day? And we managed to do very, very well. So when it came to this year, I thought, I didn't want to have sleepless nights. Where am I going to put these people? And that's how we've come to hold this one at Sherwell Church Hall. I know it because I help out at the international dinner, and I know it from lots of ways, and it's central. So that's where we're holding No One Alone at Christmas and Boxing Day. And we've got a flyer out. It's all free. Obviously it's all done with donations, little money we've got from grants that we can squeeze into this. It's a do it yourself Christmas, because you can serve people lunch, and that's lovely, but then they go home to an empty house. We want this to be a spark of them maybe making new friends, and also seeing that they're not alone in the world being on their own. There are other people like them. We've got a minibus which Four Greens are going to let us use, and we've got a driver for Christmas and for Boxing Day, and it's just taking off. People are bringing food, and we're going to go around and find out what they're bringing. Obviously, we're providing all the food, but it's nice to know what extra things people are bringing. There's a free raffle. People are organizing games. We just don't know, but it's a DIY Christmas, and that's the fun of it, because it's the planning, it's the excitement, and everyone is involved in the excitement. And I've got people who, a lady yesterday who contacted me, she's a single mother with a 2-year-old child, and she's looking to do voluntary work, and we've grabbed her. And she's going to be a meet and greet person. She's very sociable, and she'll also help serving on the table. We're going to be doing family style tables, and we're having a planning meeting on Friday. And the exciting thing that I just mentioned to Ian was that I've never had an event that I was organizing with so many people wanting to help. It's so novel, you wouldn't believe it. And this Friday, we're having a core planning meeting, and I had forgotten that there were conflicting events going on. Ian has one, John Sperling has one, and it didn't matter because we've actually got 10 new people who haven't been involved, who want to be involved. So it's absolutely wonderful. So our mission is to make Plymouth the friendliest city in the world. And I've already been invited to go to Hull, and I gave a talk to Hull about what we're doing in Plymouth. And immediately they had the Lord Mayor there, they had the Devon, the not the sheriff, the lieutenant of North, the lieutenant of Hull. It's that part of the country. And by the end of the event, the council had already allocated money, and they've got a firm of lawyers who are organizing that. I don't know what's happened yet, but I need to go up there and I think chivvy them along a bit, because you've got to keep the momentum going. But it's wonderful. And I mentioned quickly the international dinner. That happens on the last Saturday of every month at Sherwell Church, and Arazu runs it, and she's now formulating it into a formal organization, and I've been co-opted onto her committee. So lots of people who will be coming to Christmas will be going to the last one on December at Sherwell Church and meet up. And these people have made friends all year. So I'm thrilled, and the organizations that knew each other are now working together. And I remember in the first opening doors, Chris Pemberthy was Deputy Lord Mayor, and he opened the event. And he was wonderful because he knew everyone there. His mace bearer, who was his chauffeur, was having kittens because he spent an hour and a half going around talking to everyone. But I said, don't worry, he'll be ready. And I said to Chris, what I'm not doing anything unusual. I said, why is this happening? He said, you're an honest broker. And that made sense, because I think one of the things that people are worried about is they're worried about people stealing their ideas and going after a grant and using their ideas. No one seems to be concerned because they realize they're doing such different things and how much better it is if they work together. So if anyone wants to get the mailings, I will put anyone on our mail list. I circulate events. This last week, I think I sent 5 flyers out. So it's again a nice way to promulgate what's going on. And we're just growing. We're just making Plymouth friendly, happy, and we're all having fun in the process. So thanks, Tammy.
Wow, Jan, thank you. Yeah, how do we follow that? That's absolutely wonderful. And I've seen the video before, but it's lovely. It's just seeing all those smiling faces and everybody all coming together in one place, and it's just wonderful. And we'll look forward to hearing about the event that hopefully you're going to be doing next year as well, another one of those. So,
Yes.
and if
In
you can
April,
send me all
yeah.
your flyers, we'll send them out to the network with the meeting notes from this and the recording. So everybody who hasn't had a chance to be here today in person can have a look at that. And then we've got the No One Alone at Christmas. That's already on the mail that has gone out this week. I'll leave that on there. Have you still got spaces for the Christmas?
Yes, we do, because we've got, I think, 62 booked, and I'm getting more and more people. But I mean, I've been told I can go up to 100 at Sherwell without breaking health and safety rules. So yes, please, and Boxing Day as well. And there are people who are coming for one and not the other, but most people are actually coming on both days. So if you know anyone who's on their own, or if you're on your own, come along. But we do need you to book in advance, so that, one, we've got your contact details, but also we know you're coming.
That's lovely. Thanks, Jan.
How do people book on, Jan? What if we were to tell people about it, how would they go about booking?
Well, a couple of ways. If you wanted to book something for someone, because I find most of the people who really are very isolated don't actually have email, but they all have a phone. Either you can book for them, but you need to get their address and their phone number so we can speak to them, or else they can fill it in lots of ways, but it doesn't, it's just as easy over the phone, or you can fill the form in for them. It's quite a simple form, and there are questions ask, which give them a flavor for what's going on. Can you bring a free raffle prize? Nothing is compulsory. Can you make some food? So, I mean, people then see, can you help decorate? Can you help serve at the tables? So they'll see that they're going to be involved. So if you know anyone and they say, oh, I'm a bit nervous, could you book for me? Perfectly all right. And I've got from the City Council, I've got a group there who've been sending me people from a lot of the hubs. But of course, over Christmas, the majority of the organizations that people rely on are going to be closed. So that's the main reason for needing to do this. So if anyone knows of anyone, you can give them my phone number, you can phone me, or you can download the form, or you can write to me and I'll send you a form as well with the flyer.
Thanks, Jan. And we'll make sure that all Jan's details are in the notes from this. The booking form is already on there. That's already gone out and been circulated a couple of times through the network as well. I assume your telephone number is actually on the booking form. I have seen it, but it was last week.
Thank you. Yes.
So that's already on there. Lindsay, lovely that you're able to join us. You've got your hand up. You've got a question.
You're my second of 5 meetings today, so they're all overlapping. But no, great. Sorry I missed Jan's presentation, but I'll look at the recording. I just wanted to say that at this time of year on the Soup Run, we get a lot of people asking, at a few days' notice, can I volunteer at Christmas? Yeah. And we know that a lot of those people are offering to volunteer because they're on their own. And so just to let Jan know that I'm routinely sending the flyer to those people and pointing out that they can go as a guest or they can help participate. And so for those who genuinely just want to volunteer, it's going to suit them as well as people who are on their own. So it's wonderful to see that opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. But in fact, it's a two-way thing, because we do need a lot of volunteers to meet and greet people, to make sure that they aren't left alone, but also we need people to participate in things. So I'm going to be saying to the people who are going to be involved with taking orders on the table and bringing food and going around, that before they start, they need to serve themselves plates of food in the kitchen, so that when the people on the table, some of them will have eaten very quickly, they can go and sit down and join them. So it's a two-way thing, and volunteering is a lovely way to meet people and to feel what you're doing. So it's all interactive, and it's all part of the ethos of what we're doing. So thank you very much for telling people. We really appreciate it. Oh, we have some transport. So if we don't have that much space, so if there's someone who really needs to come but can't get there, let me know and I'll see if we still have space on the minibus. Okay, thank you very much.
Is that for both days, the minibus, Jan?
For both days, yes. We've got a different driver on both days as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, wow. Just, yeah, lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Rebecca, can I come to you and ask you just to give you a little bit of an update of what's been going on in your world over the last few weeks?
Specifically the thing yesterday with the child health and weight work. Do you think people would be interested in hearing about that too?
Yeah, just a brief overview. I think I would be, because it feeds. I mean, yesterday was focused on food and nutrition, wasn't it? So I'll let you give the overview.
Okay,
so there's hats on.
Okay, there's a program of work being stewarded, and that's the word rather than led. It's being stewarded by the public health team at the City Council, and that the term sort of stewardship refers to bringing lots of different services and projects and stakeholders together who are interested specifically in child health and weight. So Plymouth has this situation where we have significant numbers of people who don't have good access to good quality healthy diets, and significant numbers of children who are presenting as and living with being overweight or with obesity, and often there's very close correlation with material deprivation. So the most materially deprived parts of the city are the communities where you see most children who are unhealthy in terms of their weight. Now we know this in a number of ways, but one thing is there's this national child measurement program where it's usually school nurses will go into schools, primary schools, and they will weigh and measure children at 4 or 5 years old when they're in reception or foundation, and then again in year 6 with parental consent. And then they can track those kind of trends in terms of children's weight, bearing in mind that, of course, weight is definitely not a perfect measure in terms of well-being and physical health at all, but it's an indicator of what's going on in different communities. So there's this program of work around child health and weight, and there's a place-based program which is St Budo, and then there is specific bits of work. One which is looking at children with special educational needs and disabilities in the city, because understanding that children with additional needs often have sensory needs in terms of what they're happy to eat, what they're comfortable to eat, and some can be find some foods very difficult to stomach, and then another bit of work which is what we're just starting to talk about as well is focusing on kind of the early years and that kind of antenatal and early years stage of a child's life. There's quite a bit of work being done around things like infant feeding, trying to support and encourage mothers to breastfeed and so on. So my involvement with it is that I'm supporting with the evaluation of that program of work. But I've been involved over the last sort of year or so, and there's been some really lovely work being done. So in St Budo, it started in Barmartin, but it's kind of extended out to the whole whole St Budo ward, which is a community which is characterised by real food insecurity. I don't know if you know the area, but there's one, and I'm sure there's nobody here on the call who's going to share this, but there's one pretty terrible shop which sells pretty unhealthy, overpriced, poor quality food, and there's very little else in terms of good access to food in that community. And then of course you've got the kind of takeaways, you've got the big KFC and so on the way in, and little else. What has happened amongst all sorts of other things, there's been lots of work around trying to improve opportunities for healthy living in that community, with Active Devon have been wonderful, putting on all sorts of activities after school for children and so on. But one thing that's happened is a food co-op has been set up at the primary school at Riverside Primary School, which is for the lower paid members of staff, so support staff and teaching assistants and so on. And that's a group of people who have been linked into the programme across the city, the Food Co-ops project. And they are coming together, everyone pays £3 a week, 20 people, and then they make collective decisions on what they're going to buy, and they all have different responsibilities in terms of people going out to buy, bulk buy, or go to the supermarkets, whatever, and buying the food. And then there's also food coming in from Fair Share, so the surplus food coming in, so people have good access to a lot of that fresh fruit and vegetables and so on as well. So I'm kind of involved in the child health and weight work. I'm also involved in the food co-ops work with supporting the evaluation of the development of the food co-ops and social supermarkets across the city. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions on any of that work. It's very interesting. It's very much, it is actually easier to kind of look at a community and think, okay, well, it's quite easy to develop physical activity opportunities. That's kind of, there's lots of great organisations. There's Plymouth Argyle Community Trust, Active Devon, lots of others that have wonderful physical activity opportunities, but bringing good food into communities access to good food is much more difficult because the food system and the kind of the nature of the way that where people can get access to food is much more difficult because of all sorts of different things I'm sure you're aware of. But we're trying, and I think with the food coppers there, we're thinking, okay, could there be a community allotment? Could there be growing projects? Are there already? Possibly there are. And what could be done? Sort of taking St. Budo as a kind of test case, I think, to try to do some place-based work around food there, and then see what we can learn that could maybe work in other parts of the city. Looking, of course, Eve, to lots of what's going on in Whitley, and Claire and some of your colleagues were there yesterday at the meeting talking about the Fresh Street and other work. So I think there's a huge amount of learning there that could maybe replicated to other parts of the city.
Thanks, Rebecca. No, it's brilliant. Something as well that I know quite a bit about, but I think people would be very interested is the other element is the ripple effect mapping. I think you really ought to explain what that is, but I think Ian might have a question relating to what you've just said first. So if I let Ian come to you first, but.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's a comment really. It's around, thanks, Rebecca. That's really helpful to have, that understanding, the overview. Is on the growing front. So there is quite a lot of activity in that sort of Barnbarton, St. Budo area around growing, including with Donovan Hen and whatever Colebrook is called nowadays, the William Sutton Trust and that sort of area there. Also, Tess Wilmot's had quite a lot of conversations with, and I'm going to forget the person's name now, but there's a lady who does a bunch of work there to do with the former barracks, that
Oh, is it the
fort.
Pioneers Project?
That's it. And I'm trying to think of her name.
Project,
What's her name? Who leads on that? But anyways, sorry?
She's called Lisa.
I think so. Yes, thank you. Yes. There's been quite a few conversations about that. So if you want to follow up on that and have that conversation,
that'd be great.
Ties into the growing with nature and growing community abundance work and all of that side. So please do. But I'm glad to hear
that'd be great. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Tammy.
I think in terms of the ripple effects mapping, Tammy, I'm more than happy to if people think it'd be useful, I could do a run through it at maybe another meeting, because it's for it to work well, you kind of need about sort of 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to kind of talk through it. And actually for it to work really well is for people to have a chance to do it themselves. So I don't know whether it might be worth doing it maybe at one of the in-person meetings.
That would be brilliant. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm more than happy to do that. So just a very quick overview. It's a tool for capturing the qualitative impact and learning from a project, and it can be applied to all sorts of different types of projects and services. It can be done also for an individual or a family. If you want to track someone's experience, someone's journey, maybe they've come in contact with you and your service and all the help and they've received, and the challenges and the outcomes and learning that have gone along. So it's a community development tool really, but it can be used for evaluation, and it can be used to support the project development. And I'm doing a lot of it around the city. I feel like I'm sort of living and breathing it a bit really, because as people sort of learn about it, it's very flexible and can be used in lots of ways to capture that rich story of the work that you're doing.
Oh, that would be great. Well, we've sent out the dates for the January and February meetings. They're both online, but the March one, it'd be really nice. I was planning on doing an in-person one. So if we can book you for that, that will be on the 13th of March.
Lovely. Okay, let me put that in my diary, Tammy, and I'll double check.
That would be lovely. And then we can talk about that a little bit nearer the time. But that would be great. And then it gives people a lot of notice to be able to, and it will come around very, very quick, as it always
will.
There. Ian, did you have any updates that you would like to share with everybody?
Sorry, I do, but I wonder if we could let Kevin have a quick update before I speak. Is that okay? It's very important that people get to hear about Kevin and what's going on with the bridge, if that's okay. And I'll chip in afterwards if that's all right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, Kevin, over to you.
I'll pop on. Yeah, please excuse the fact that I look, I'm like this. It's quite cold in the warehouse at the moment, but we are in the warehouse, which is really good news. Yeah, things are moving very fast. I've got a lot of contractual work going on at the moment, deep cleaning, lots of maintenance on existing features, and building the rack in. Hopefully in the next kind of week, we are looking for food to be delivered for the first time in Plymouth next month. And we are looking at our soft launch next month. So we'll be open for visitors, of which I know, Tammy, you're very keen to come along, as well as everyone else, and everyone on, obviously, part of the PFAN network will be very welcome for us to be able to show that. So that, I won't go into the nitty gritty, but yeah, obviously we're building up our volunteers as well now. And so if anyone is interested in that, please let us know. And yeah, our social media and all of the other kind of health and safety related aspects, as you would imagine. But yeah, things are moving really fast, they're progressing well. And yeah, we're on point of where we want to be, and we're soon getting that food in, which I think is will be good news to everyone. So we'll get the trials done in January, and ready to start really supporting from February onwards, we're looking at. So yeah, it's quite a lot to commit to there, to in front of everyone, but I'm feeling confident we're hitting those targets. So that is the aim, obviously subject to change in case something goes wrong. But yeah, things are going well.
And your new your warehouse is in the Honicknall area in Burrington Way, isn't it?
Yeah, Unit 7, Burrington Business Park. So a lot of you will know where Provide Devon is. If you kind of continue down to the bottom part and take a right, there is I'm quite close to the climbing hangar, and we have a PCH building and McDonald's right by us. So yeah, we're just down at the bottom of that industrial estate.
Yeah, brilliant. And your Facebook is up and running now, Kevin, isn't it? So it would be helpful for people to sign up and like that and follow it.
I'm more than happy to do a little Facebook plug. We have our social media. So yeah, the Bridge Plymouth on Facebook, and on Twitter, it's the Bridge Plym, Plym. Yeah, please have a look at the Facebook. I'm trying to keep as active as possible to show some of the updates and progression as we're going on, so people can follow the story.
Great.
That's great. Thanks, Kev.
Nice. Yeah, marvelous.
Okay. Sorry, can I just ask a quick question? You said you had taking a delivery of food soon next month, Kevin. Is that the link in with his church?
Yes. Yeah. So that'd be, we're looking to try and get our first initial delivery of about 30 to 60 tons worth of food to come in, because we have a big empty space. There's a big space to fill. That was the purpose of it. I think if you've gone to the fair share, it's maybe like 2.5 times bigger, essentially. So they really cram it in. They do a fantastic job there. So yeah, a lot of space to fill now, which obviously is the reason why there's a lot of cleaning going on and prep work. But yeah, it will be a sizable amount of food, and yeah, we'll begin trials as well.
Amazing. Brilliant. Been a long time coming, but yeah, you've got there. You're nearly there.
Yeah, there's it was a lot harder to find the space available for the size of the project we want to achieve. So yeah, it took some time, but yeah, I'm happy with where we're at.
No, it's good. I think it's going to tie in well with certain other developments with fair share as well, isn't it, with what's going on there. So actually that would be quite handy, Tammy, just a thought, if we can try and get Rachel and or Shelley along to speak from a fair share perspective, explaining what's going on with fair share. I think that would be of interest to people as well, if we can a bit of working notes there as we go. So that's great. So on the subject of other working notes, so basically I've trailed this a few times with Ella, but we are looking at the revival, where we're working actively towards the revival of the Food Power Southwest network, which many of you will recall was really something that came around 2018-ish. And Dr. Claire Pettinger, that we mentioned earlier, was very instrumental in that in the early days. And that took on a real life of its own and was very, very helpful around household food insecurity, and laid a lot of good foundations in the West Country for then when COVID hit. I think that was a really important piece of work that had happened and was still happening and served well. And then it sort of eventually ran into the sand. So we're reviving that. And the dates that Ella and I are looking at is, and DBI, Diversity Business Incubator, are leading on that with the support of Food Plymouth. And to some extent, that's an obstruction of Food Plymouth at the minute because I need to get some info out. So sorry, Ella. But the dates we're looking at is we always used to meet on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. It proved to be a very popular slot. So we're proposing and giving people a choice of, and we'll take a bit of a straw poll and find out which is the most popular. Wednesday, the 15th of January at 4 o'clock, or Wednesday, 22nd of January, again at 4 o'clock. It's online, so not unlike this kind of meeting really in some ways. And that's what we're offering. And if that doesn't suit people, we've said, look, if those dates don't work anymore, those times, please tell us a time that would. And if we get a pattern there, a strong preference for one or the other, we'll go for that. So info will be coming out on that as soon as I can get out the way and let it go. We've just got some GDPR things we've just, in inverted commas, that we need to be very careful of sharing email addresses, etc. at the moment. So yeah, one to look forward to there, I think, for the coming year. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that, and I'll put that through the great work Tammy does on communicating as soon as I possibly can. Also mentioned earlier the Banish Blue Monday event, that saddest, baddest, horriblest day of the year, which is always thought to be the third Monday in January after Christmas and before people get paid. And we're doing that again under the Growing Community Resilience sort of approach. And that's going to be at Sherwell. And it's going to be sort of late afternoon through into the evening of Monday, the 20th of January. And I'll send Tammy the poster on that. If you'd be kind enough to share it, Tammy, with the update from this meeting, that would be really handy. Other than that, for PFAN going forward into 2025, I think now that some of the smoke of proverbial battle is clearing a bit now, because there's been so much emphasis, it's been a dingbats but very fruitful 2 years. We're coming out the other side of a massive amount of activity, including the bridge, really getting operational now. The social supermarket's actually coming online. The one in Whitley's going well by all accounts. And the one in Stonehouse, which has been somewhat delayed, work is about to start happening on getting the infrastructure in for that and various other things that go with it. The food co-ops are going well. Kelly's geared up to do another 4 of those in this coming year as well, which will be great. To set up and start running another 4. Well, they're run by their members, of course, but doing the setup work. So I think that's the time to return to the work we were trying to do 2.5 years ago around what is the future of PFAN and what will that look like and how will that be. So watch this space for that, really. You recall we started on that, and then events, as I said, useful events, but actually very intense events kind of push that to the side, shall we say. It's time to return to that now. So say more about that in the new year, but just really putting a placeholder in sort of marking the card, as it were, for that to go forward. But yeah, that's it really from my point of view. Any questions on any of that?
I don't think so. Ian, you're muted.
I'm happy if you're happy. I'll stop there.
That's fine. Would anyone else like to give any updates or anything at all? Lindsay?
Yeah, well, one of our watchwords is business as usual. So it is very much business as usual over Christmas and New Year, because we're one of the few fixed points in people's lives. So we always go out to the same places, the same times, and we'll be doing that completely continuously over Christmas and New Year. But some additional things, we've had our reverse Advent calendar appeal, which is starting to bear fruit. So we're getting donations in that will enable us to do something a little special, give presents to people. And I think the team that went out a couple of Saturdays ago has already given out their first Christmas boxes to Suit Run clients, because they get very attached. They're important social contacts in both directions. And it was the last time that team from Plymouth Stock would be going out before Christmas. So there was an early Christmas present for people. And for rough sleepers, it's a really difficult time over the holidays. And Shekinah are opening on the morning of the 25th, doing a Christmas lunch with some Soup Run volunteers helping there. And the Soup Run itself is going to open Shekinah on the 26th, on Boxing Day, for the most vulnerable homeless people.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. Eve.
Just to plug tomorrow afternoon, the Food Sequel celebration at the Salvation Army Hall in Lancaster Gardens in Whitley, talking about the Fresh Street project, the journey of it. It should be a lot of fun. A lot of work's gone into it. We'll be there. It'd be nice to see you. You've got lots going on, haven't you? Some family activities. Yeah, lots of stuff. Brilliant. No, that's lovely. And then a nice presentation of the actual journey. So
yeah, it'll be a really good event, that one, Eve, when it's really amazing what you've done together over the last 4 years. Quite extraordinary. So brilliant. Thank you.
No, that's great. Well, if nobody else has got anything to say, then we'll wrap up and give everyone 2.5 minutes back of your time
for the next one.
For the next one, yeah. But I just really, on behalf of Food Plymouth and the whole team, really just want to wish everybody, you know, a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and just so proud, so proud to be part of this amazing network and such wonderful people, such wonderful organisations, all continuing to do work that, yeah, that just makes this city such an amazing place to live for everybody. Thank you, Jan, again, for everything that you've done. And we look forward to hearing from you on the other side of how your event goes at Christmas. We'd love to share that information. So to those of you on the recording, we'll say goodbye to 2024, and we'll see you again in 2025.
Thank you.
Merry